Hey, what's up, everybody? I wanted to take a second and go ahead and shoot this little, I don't know, a disclaimer, maybe that's the right term for it. Oh, this is going to be the first episode of the Dad Voice podcast. And this is a completely DIY venture by me and my co-host Phil. And if you're watching from Phil's side, I'm Cole. And Phil and I got together to do this podcast, and it has been, like I said, completely DIY. So we are learning as we go. And the one thing that I just wanted to add into this first episode before you guys actually start watching is that we had some issues learning audio, video, syncing, all that stuff. So as you watch this episode, just know that the audio that we had recorded just had some issues. And so we had to just scrap the whole audio file. So what you're about to see is just an iPhone video with iPhone quality audio. But we hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for being here, and happy Father's Day to everybody watching, because that's the day that this first episode is released. And hopefully this little video that I'm making here shows you that we did figure out audio and video, and it will be a lot better moving forward. So thanks for watching, guys, and again, happy Father's Day, and we're just happy you guys are here.
All right, so
good morning, or whatever time it is
it's
you're watching this.
Good evening.
Time is a social construct.
It is. It's not real. Nothing is real. Just to take that with you. So this is take 2 of episode 1 of the Dad Voice podcast.
Yep, the non-lost episode.
The non-lost episode. We've got our coffee. We've got 2 comfy chairs, which I'm hoping in the future this one will also be replaced with a recliner.
Yeah.
And I think that we're finally. I think this is going to be the take. You know, I think we're comfortable here. But let's go ahead. Let's just start off like talking about what we're doing here.
What are we?
Who are we?
What are we even doing here?
Why? This is a philosophical.
It's a philosophical
podcast.
Yeah.
And because I can't pronounce philosophical properly, you probably already lost you. But no, in all reality, why are we here? Do you want to take off so I can sip my coffee?
You know what? We are dads. Maybe don't look like a typical dad, but what even is that? We kind of just thought we want to do a podcast about being a dad for dads or anybody else who wants to understand dadhood. Just kind of more like we're veering from the social media type dads, even though this will be on social media. The guys who are like, I've got this like $150 new tactical backpack for my son, and
Right.
We're going out hiking for 12 miles, and God, I'm just killing it at life doing my computer job, making $8 million a year, logging in every once in a while and jiggling my mouse.
To be clear, computer jobs don't all pay that well. I work in cybersecurity, and I can tell you right now, it's just I make more money than I've ever made, but it ain't that.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like, it's just, there's so much disillusion, if that's the right term, disillusion, around, like, social media dads. I'm a real life dad, and I mess up constantly. Like, I'm constantly doing things incorrectly. Like, I get into yelling matches with my 2-year-old, just because I'm like, oh, he's screaming, I gotta be louder.
Yeah.
And like most people are like, no,
You can't outdog me.
Yeah, and most people are like, no, you should walk away. And then, some other internet dad's probably gonna be like, oh, well, it's because you feed your son
Red dye 40.
Right, red dye 40 and non-organic vegetables.
You gotta take him to the retreat where they put you in a tent and you just hash it out, dude. It's only like $1,500 an hour.
Right. And it's like, okay, cool. Where do I get the income for that? Because the economy is in the crapper, and I can barely afford what I've got going on now. And I think a lot of dads will sympathize with that. I think a lot of dads are sitting here like, hey, and it's not just financial means, it's emotional means. It's the emotional and mental capacity to constantly have to do the gymnastics required to do all the things these dads are doing. Like I'm so happy for every dad out there that gets to work for 3 hours a week and makes six figures and then gets in their brand new EV and drives up to a mountain and hikes with their kids on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And then goes back to their 4-story house with a in-ground pool and like that. It's just not real. You know what I mean? Like it's not real. And I think one of the things that I just as a parent, like especially, and we'll probably get into this more later, but like I I literally started at the bottom when we first had our first kid. Within a few months of him being born, we got evicted and our car got repossessed. That is the reality for parents. Like that's a real thing that happens to some people. That's a real thing. Struggling and going, I don't know. And you know, like there was luckily our oldest son was just outside of formula when COVID hit because like I couldn't fathom being a parent
the shortages.
the shortages. But like I just when I kind of concocted the first part of this podcast in my head, I just wanted somebody out there that was going to be real. I wanted somebody out there that was going to sit there and go, you know, hey, this everything's not going to fit perfectly into the image that you think it will.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get that going, but we finally, you know, like I finally kind of got the idea for it because like my biggest struggle is I don't think anybody wants to hear just me talk. I think it's different when I have a dialogue with someone else.
Right.
And I talked to a few friends who were like, yeah, that's a good idea. Sure, man. I'm like, oh, cool. You want to do it with me? And they're like, no, not at all. And I'm like, okay, awesome.
No, I will not be open and vulnerable. That's,
right. And
hard
then,
pass.
And then I saw you, and it conveniently occurred to me as you went viral and were on CNN, which I'll let you tell that story in a minute. I reached out to you and I was like, man, would you want to do this? You're a dad, and your handle is what, regular average dad?
Yeah, literally.
So I was like, this feels perfect. You've got a background in comedy. Yeah, you know entertainment standards. You know being a dad, and you've obviously like your video, which again I'll let you go over that in a second, is you being real and honest about the reality of what we're facing. And so I was like, well, I can't think of a better person. But yeah, do you want to talk about the video? Because I feel like some people, if they're watching this and have no idea, it might put a name to the face and go, oh, I do know him.
Yeah, I guess in November, I was just at a point where I was like, I'm working this office job and I'm still not making enough money to be happy or comfortable or whatever. I'm happy already, internal happiness, whatever. But I was like, use what you got. That's it. Use what you got. I'm not saying be woo woo and follow the universe and stuff, but follow the universe. When things line up, just don't ignore it. Go with the flow. I know that's a whole branch of like maybe Taoism or whatever, but I was like, I gotta do something to maybe eventually crawl my way to freedom. Is just what I'm seeking now, is freedom. So I started making videos of literally just me, a white guy, walking and talking. There's plenty of that, but I did comedy for a long time. Started when I was 18, doing stand-up. Off and on. I have ADHD. We'll get into that. And I just back and forth between it. But now I have this little square in my pocket that I can just do at any time. So I recorded some videos. Some went viral. But then in April of this year, it was the day where the stock market just went way down, dipped. And I made a video where I was like, I was actually able to avoid the stock market crash because of a years-long planning of not having any savings or disposable income to invest. And that was it. And I guess it resonated and got like 2 million something views on Instagram, million something on TikTok. I don't know if TikTok is banned by the time this episode comes out, but then one of the day anchors from CNN shared it on her story, and I woke up that Saturday morning and I was like, babe. She was like, what? I was like, a video about me being broke was just shared by an anchor from CNN. So, we just have that. And you know what? I just keep making my videos. I'm having fun, and it goes somewhere. Cool. It doesn't.
By the
Cool.
way, CNN has a very weird relationship with comedians. I just watched the interview with Tim Dillon that they did. Don't want to get sidetracked, but it's always funny to so I've never been viral to that level. I've had friends that were viral. I've got friends that, I mean, I come from the music industry, right? So for anybody who's watching who doesn't know who I am or doesn't care about who I am, or didn't before this, I guess, I come from hardcore and metal. I've been piecing together bands since I was 16, and a few of them took off a little harder than others. But we might at another date sometime go into my music credentials. But that to me was so interesting, because like comedy and hardcore have this strangely symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
Like a few people that come to mind, just like Ian Fidance. He's doing really well in stand up right now. Dude's super integrated into hardcore. Matty Matheson, he was the Bear. He just started a hardcore band, and I don't want to butcher it. It's something Pig. Matty, he's also like a professional chef. He's a TV chef, like super cool, but like he's super funny. Love that guy. Like he's hilarious. But comedy and hardcore, like they're both rooted in DIY and that punk rock mentality of, get out there and just grind and figure it out. And that's realistically the basis of what we're doing here, because worst case scenario, nobody watches this, but we still get to sit here in our little vent room and talk. But best case scenario, we do what we are seeking to do, and really like make contact with dads out there.
Yeah.
And my ambition is to grow this. My ambition is to connect with people, because that's all I want to do. I really don't I'm not here to make millions off this. I know podcasting is like a new wave, and it's a new way that people consume information. It's preferable to a lot of people. So it makes sense to do it like this. But money would be awesome. It is not the goal. The goal here is connection. Give our credentials. I'm a dad. I have 2 kids. I have 2 boys. Yeah, they're 7 and almost 8, and then 2.5. I've been married for a decade, or not. I haven't been married for a decade. I've been with my wife for a decade. Been married for 8 years and some change. It sounds like when you line up, oh, you have an almost 8-year-old and you've been married for 8 years and some change. Sounds like a shotgun wedding situation. It wasn't. We just happened to be like, hey, we're getting married, and then also we're having a kid. Not that it matters. Who cares? Who cares? Dude, there are some people that are going to be watching this that are like, we're not married at all. We have a kid together. Cool.
Perfect.
Lock the fuck on forever.
You are still a mother and father.
That's right. I'm going to have to edit out that swear at some point. But yeah, like this, and again, I think we're both married. We both have like that traditional household, quote unquote traditional. But like, this isn't just for people like that. This isn't just for people who do it the way the system designed it to be. This is for everyone, and especially because like there is a big push for traditional families right now, and there is a big push for people to start to conform to these ideas. And we're not here to push that. And as we will try our best to avoid politics on either side. Um, but it is inevitable that sometimes we're going to have to talk about stuff that gets political. Um, but at the same time, like, we're not here. I'm personally not here to tell you that everything you believe is wrong about being a dad, or about being a person. I'm just here to tell you that there are other people that might be dealing with the same things you're dealing with, that might be having the same struggles that you're having. And if that's the case, here's a place to hang out and listen and hear what we've got going on, and realize that, like, hey, there are these people that are dealing with the same thing, and maybe we're dealing with it in a way that you haven't thought of, or maybe you'll hop in the comments and be like, LOL, you suck. Here's how to deal with that situation that you're struggling with.
And we appreciate all engagement.
Yeah.
Mean or nice.
Hey, hate still puts us further into the algorithms.
That's something I've had to learn with my comedy videos too, and I've learned a lot of new insecurities about myself, and turned them into jokes. It's fun. Like, why are my ears so far back? Like, when I look at something, I look like I don't have ears. And I also went to college for psychology because I do have the genuine desire to help people. Am I a psychologist? No. My life veered in a completely different direction, and it continually veers. But it's just, I don't like when people feel alone, left out, othered, like someone else isn't experiencing what they're experiencing, because I think, Cole and I will get into it too. We had very similar but also very different high school experiences that maybe caused us to have a bit more empathy for, the person who just feels like, well, God, I'm not fitting into society. I'm not fitting into this, square box in an office. Like, I'm doomed for failure. No, you're not. You're alive right now, hopefully. So, it's you got a leg up on those who are not.
Right. And by the way, what a perfect segue to go into our history real quick, because Phil and I went to high school together. By the way, I don't know if we did an intro on who we are, but
I was gonna say my credentials are: I met my wife in college, 2013. We've been together 12 years. We've been married since COVID year 2020. That was wild. Got married in our backyard, had our wedding reception at the Idiot Box Comedy Club, and shout out to Jenny and Steve, the owners of the Idiot Box Comedy Club, for graciously letting us have our reception there. And they are two of the best people I've ever met. They're just very genuine people. But yeah, and then got married 2020, 2023, had my daughter, and that's what I have is one daughter, one very large cat. And my daughter's 2. She just turned 2 yesterday, and that was fun. And those are my credentials.
Happy birthday, daughter. I don't know if we're doing names, so we'll.
Happy birthday, Jane Doe.
Yeah. I am a little bit weird about it now. We will probably eventually talk about our kids enough that we need to use their names.
I was thinking yesterday also I was like, is it time for me to change my comedy handles to my regular name? But then I was like, I just don't want weirdos looking me up yet.
Yeah. And it's
when it's worth it, I will. But right now, I don't want weirdos looking me up.
And this kind of comes back full circle to us talking about the hate engagement that we want. But like, I am such a sucker. Like, there's so many videos now that are just like, this person thinks this thing, and they're like,
thoughts, chat?
Yeah, they're like, what do you think about this? Or it's just something blatantly insane, and then you go in the comments and there's bots that are like, go team or whatever. And I fall for it every time, and I'm just talking mad crap. on the comments about
It works.
like,
It tickles that primal part of your brain,
it
man.
does, and I'm just
I can't hate the game. I'm
it
not a hater.
suckers me in so bad. It's my ADHD because my impulsivity is so bad.
Yeah, me too.
And like I just snap.
And that is something we both share too.
Yeah, and like so I'll snap right into it and be like, "This is why you're wrong," and then I like 10 minutes later will delete it, and they probably feel like they won, and good for them. I'm so happy that you won, bot. But
You know what? If a bot feels good, that's fine.
yeah, my job is done.
I'm okay with maybe they'll spare us when
Right.
AGI happens and they'll take over the world.
But
And our grandmothers who say please and thank you to their Alexa devices.
right, apparently ChatGPT was like, the CEO was like, please stop thanking.
You're killing whole forests.
Yeah, like you're destroying the
We
environment.
have to build a new server farm in this old town in West Virginia and kick everyone out. Please stop thanking it. It's not going to hurt you, we think.
But yeah, I know, dude, and like I fall victim to the hate all the time. But then because of that, every once in a while I'll catch a real one, and there's a few comments on my Instagram that you can, if you scroll through, and they'll dig and they'll find something super personal that I posted, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, blah blah blah," and run their mouth on a comment, and I'm like, "You really like?" I struck a nerve, like, because you came all the way to my profile.
You living rent free.
Yeah, and like I have a public profile because like I used to use it to promote shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And I should probably privatize not the right word. Make it private. Privatize just has a whole other meaning now.
Yeah.
Especially since,
That's also why I am happy that I made a separate comedy thing, Regular Average Dad. I don't even know why I picked that name. I don't know. I personally don't even like it. Maybe some people do, but I'm kind of stuck with it now. So
yeah, well, I mean, I think
it's nice to have that separation, though.
It fits the vibe. You have a lot of dad jokes on there, and also like it falls right into place with this. And like I know that right now the Dad Voice podcast TikTok is just us sharing your videos, and we get some more content.
That's me doing psychological manipulation.
That's right.
Because people feel more comfortable to like your videos if other people do.
Right, and it's our game to play, but like, and I probably should step up a little bit, make some more content, but I might actually do my own profile for that as well. Just because the one that I use now, it's got kids and family and stuff on it, but again, we've made the circle complete now, but like I just we'll obviously talk about our kids, like that's the whole point of this thing is being dads, right? But we'll be very careful with what we say. I'm going to be very careful with the information I give. As I get further and further into my cybersecurity career, I also get further and further into a constant state of paranoia. Because like, I find out a new way every day where someone is attacking us and taking our information and finding out things about us. And sometimes you go and okay, well, this is a new attack. What's our defense technique? Because we don't have one.
We don't have one. It's already happened.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, okay, well, hopefully soon. And then that's it. You just live in that state. Although, props to the cybersecurity community. The geniuses that are at the top of the game here are just brilliant at what they do, and they are so on top of things. And one thing that we will probably talk about, and may even give a more centralized focus to later down the road, is keeping your personal social media and your network and your computers clean and proper healthy sanitization. Is that right? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. For because we like,
it's actually helpful and useful information.
Yeah, but also like, I'm reaching into nothingness for my water here. It like, we live in 2025, and every that's another thing that irks the crap out of me is parents get on their little TikToks and like, if you let your kid have a screen under the age of 13, you are a piece of crap parent. And it's like, okay, it's 2025. I didn't even give my kid his first screen. School did. So what do you want me to do? Like, and
I watched SpongeBob with my 2-year-old this morning. Some may say, "Oh, SpongeBob will rot their brain." No, I have a different take. I think the humor is so good that it helps develop their personality and understand logic more. And then, also, you know what? Someone else can have the opposite opinion and feel the same way and debate me on it, and who knows who's right.
And guess what? My 2-year-old sometimes has a screen.
Because, yeah, mine too.
First off, and I'm not afraid to admit this, because every kid learns differently, but my 2-year-old's not speaking very well. He has like his single words and stuff, but he's behind his milestone, and it was recommended, hey, put on Miss Rachel.
Miss Rachel.
And or put on, and I think your wife actually also suggested it. The only difference is I have an old cell phone that I can put YouTube Kids on.
Yep.
It's completely sanitized. The only thing that it connects to is my network, and I can lock it out from anything else. So I have it locked down to YouTube Kids with an algorithm tailored to the 2-year-old, which has a lot of speech and helpful things. So I'm going to give him the screen, because if it's going to help him learn to speak, because I can't do the tantrums anymore. Like, I need him to be able to communicate. Even if he's a jerk about it, him being able to talk is going to help us. And it's not just because, I'm so worn out for my kid. Like, he can't be happy.
It's like, buddy, you got to meet me in the middle here. Help me out a little bit.
Right.
Come on, bro.
But technology is technology. Technology is at the base of it. It is something that humans created to make life easier. And again, we'll probably go into this another time, another day, more in depth. But that's a perfect example of what I'm here to fight, right?
Yeah.
It's like these weird stigmas that you can't give your kid a screen. I get it.
Yeah, is it the healthiest thing? No, probably not. But what is? And my daughter had the opposite problem of your son. She could speak very early, probably because she watched Miss Rachel, but she was very behind on walking, didn't learn to walk till she was almost 2. We had her in physical therapy forever. She had to wear these $1,000 magic shoes, we call them, and she still wants to put them on, and I'm like, put those away. We are done with those. Stop it with the magic shoes. And she watched Danny Go on YouTube, and he got her up and moving more than a physical therapist did for like a year. So it's just like, no, it works.
And
works if you work it.
We've reached out to a speech therapist, and when we did, they were like 6 to 8 months minimum for a consult. And then that's not even including the therapy.
You're like, dude, he'll be driving by then.
Yeah, at that point, and it's also, health insurance is crazy. Something we'll probably touch on a lot throughout the duration.
I do not understand health insurance, and I also don't like it.
I work for a company, a healthcare based company, and I still don't get it. So, but the whole thing is technology is there to help us. And it's so easy for a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad to sit there and zero in on people and go, oh, how dare you give your kids a screen? It's like, okay, what are you doing? You have all day? I work from home.
Yeah,
sure.
They're like, well, I'm a millionaire and I have spare time to take them to these wilderness retreats.
And I pay my nanny off screen to also teach. I can't afford any of that. I work from home, and that is a luxury that I'm super grateful for. That being said, I can't just stop doing my important job that pays our bills to sit there and go, okay. I can't dedicate that extra 8 hours. Before and after, 100%. And it's not like I'm neglecting the child while I'm at homework. I'm like, all right, here's a couple of sharp objects and an open can.
Here's a pack of cigarettes.
Right, here's a pack of cigarettes. You figure it out for the day. No, I constantly support him through the day. And, my 7-year-old, he's in elementary school, but we're about to be at
summer
vacation, and so he'll be home too, and he's very helpful. So I'll have that luxury for a few months. But like, it's just not real. It's not real, and like, I'm speaking from a position where most other people will be like, "Wow, you've really got it easy." Like working from home is a privilege for sure, and I just graduated. Like, my birthday was the 13th, the day before my birthday. I graduated with my Associates of Applied Sciences in
Nice.
Network Management and Security. And I've been doing full time school, full time dad, full time job, full time husband, and I've probably been failing miserably at all of them. Um, you know, but I passed. I got my degree. I'm stoked about it.
One of the best things that one of my old bosses told me is don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Right, and
That grounds me so much.
and that's such a wow. That's a really good philosophy, especially with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because like, there's a lot of things that, like I said at the beginning of this, I mess up a lot. I do things. And I'm like, well, that's probably irreparable damage. That's just how that's going to be in his head.
You're like,
forever.
well, we just won't do that again.
Right.
You know? You live and you learn.
And and by the way, I've made a lot of decisions around my capacity to be a father. Like I've gotten a vasectomy. We're done with kids. And that was an agreement. Like, it's my wife's body. At the end of the day, like, she's the one who has to go through pregnancy.
Yeah.
She's the one who has to do all that. And because permanently stopping the reproductive functions for women is so much harder, so much more expensive. I don't have a problem. I haven't noticed anything different other than it's a little more fun because we get that fun ending part.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep it as PG as possible. This isn't like a super sex focused podcast, but like, I made a very specific decision.
It's specific, and it's a big decision.
It is a big decision.
You're reversing your biology,
Right?
and some would say our whole reason for living evolutionarily is the drive to have progeny,
and to reproduce, and like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm sure I will mention this a million times as we go through episodes and episodes of this, but like, I struggle a lot because I look at the world that I brought two human beings into, and like, it's always been weird to me anyways for parents to lord the fact that they gave their kids life over them. Like, okay, I didn't ask you to. I wasn't alive. You forced this on me. It's a situation that we all have to be a part of.
Yeah.
But like, thanks, I guess. It's super weird.
Your mom's hot, it felt good.
Yeah, like that's really what it is. And most of the time it's like, well, we didn't even mean to make you anyways. So
yeah.
But like, it is what it is. And your kids are here, you had them. My whole thing is like, I really struggle with like, did I do the wrong thing by bringing two human lives into this fiasco of a world we have? And I think that the more I think about that, the more cynical and more pessimistic I get. So I kind of try to not let myself sink into that.
And I had someone else say another random philosophical nugget to me that did help me grapple with that, because I think about that too. I'm like, my sweet, beautiful little daughter, like, lives in a world with ISIS and all this just stuff that we deal with. I know ISIS is basically gone, but it's just like, wow, my little girl, my cute little girl wearing her beautiful little bluey nightgown spinning around, lives on a planet where someone is having their head chopped off by the cartel in this exact moment, and it's crazy. But then someone said to me, it may have even been my wife, who may have heard it from someone else too. It's like, yes, we're bringing kids into a very scary and bad world, but who the hell's gonna make it better? Like, we can at least make them good people who can maybe make it better, and we can make it, And that's like intentional parent, child rearing, and
I think
It's like,
about
well,
that a
let's at
lot.
least give it a shot to make some future people to make it better.
Because I feel like millennials and Gen Z are the first generations to inherit just from the jump a shit show. Like our first exposure to economics was the 2008
Yeah.
financial crisis. Like we were in high school at the time, a couple of years away from graduation, and that's the first time we had like a real understanding of money. And then it's only gotten crazier from there. And again, without getting too political, without getting too uh, in the face of everyone, like I don't know many people. Like the middle class doesn't feel like it exists anymore. I don't think it
No.
does personally. And I talk to a lot of people all the time, and like I said, like I make good money. I make more money than I've ever made in my life, but somehow it's not enough anymore.
Yeah,
And
same.
it's crushing me.
I dreamed of making like what I
Yeah,
make like
Yeah.
10 years ago.
I make more now than my dad did when he supported a family of 4 and bought a house and my mom didn't work.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me that I can't do that. Like I can't do it. And the house that we rent is more expensive than the house that he bought, but it's the same size. And of course, we live in a completely different state than the one that he bought and everything. It totally on its own thing. But the point remains, what we're dealing with is so different.
The starting line is different.
Right.
The ground rules are a little different.
And, you know, our generation, millennials, the only feedback we have in real time is from our Gen X or Boomer parents. And, you know, I'm not trying to disparage Gen X, but like I've always had this thing where Gen X is the generation of no accountability. The Boomers came in and they set themselves up and didn't think long term. They're very narrow vision and nearsightedness just set them up perfectly for them and maybe their kids. But now we're dealing with that, and Gen X is like, well, it wasn't us. I don't have anything to do with that.
The 80s were fun.
Yeah, and it's like, okay.
I'm like, I bet they were. I wish I could visit the 80s.
And so I think that's another reason, and again, not to get political, not to start attacking anyone, because there are excellent Gen X and Boomer parents out there. And if for any Gen X or Boomer that comes in the comments and goes, well, not all Gen X, it's the same concept as not all men, right?
Yeah.
Like,
We're very aware.
we're talking about the ones that are like this. We're not talking about the ones that are going to be in the comments going, well, not me. Okay, good.
We're not talking about you, but if you feel like it,
Yeah,
maybe do a little introspection.
We'll applaud you. Sure.
Why do you feel like that?
But at the same time, like this is the situation we're dealing with, and so I think having this millennial voice, and Gen Z might even look at us and go, "What old guys,
Nerds,
like nerds."
No Riz having works.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're right.
Riz, whatever.
Yeah, we're 2 Ohio-looking guys, old, burnt-out, ex-creative dads.
And
that is another thing too. The whole like, do I look like a dad? Like, what does that look like?
Right.
I know that's getting broad and into it.
It's super funny though, because like I think about that too, and like I'm covered in tattoos. Like you can see probably my neck and my hands from this angle, but like if I take off this hoodie, my arms are covered, my legs are covered. Like I do not like my full torso. Like I'm very heavily tattooed. And I think you have one?
I have one visible tattoo, and even that is too much for wearing like a polo shirt in corporate America.
Right.
And I'll get into my career transition yet again in the next episode,
But yeah, and it's super funny because I also work in a very corporate environment.
Yeah.
It's
you just happen to be at home in like
Yeah.
the perfect role for you.
It is, and like a lot of people are caring less about stuff like that.
Yeah,
which that might be
nice.
a good focus for another episode. I know we're supposed to not get into too much about what we're going to do in the future,
But we also have to like, this is a way to because we are kind of ADHD, this is a way for us to remember.
Right.
what episodes
So
to
we'll
do.
be rewatching.
This is active
episode.
note taking
Right.
in video form.
We're gonna be watching this going like, oh yeah, we should do that
Oh
episode.
yeah, dude, good idea.
But yeah, like being tattooed means a lot less now. And I think it's mostly because our generation and Gen Z was like, okay, so you're not gonna pay me super well because I have tattoos. Well, you weren't gonna pay me super well anyway.
And you don't sound like a place I want to work.
Right, like whatever. Like, why does that matter? And I feel like I'm a living example of it doesn't. Like I'm good at what I do. I'm not the best by any means. So any of my cyber buddies that are way better at me that are watching this, I know. But I'm still good at what I do. I'm good enough to have gotten the job and to have kept it. And I am sorry, not a shot at you.
No, that's okay. No, I'm comfortable with talking about soon what.
Yeah, but for me,
I'm in a good place.
For me, this was like it was just I'd had like a lot of career path changes. I was working in retail. Didn't want to do that, and I really like knuckled up and had a buddy that was like, hey, you're pretty good at computers, and he worked in IT, and he was like, you could do it. And so I just dove headfirst, and that's where I am, and that's how I got here. But like, also not everybody has that opportunity. Not everybody. I have more opportunity than most, and I understand that it's weird that I'm sitting here going, well, we're going to talk about the reality of being a dad, but like there is a spectrum of fathers, right?
Yeah.
And there is people that are still scraping the bottom of the barrel, and people that don't have a direction, people that think that they are limited, and maybe hearing my story eventually, or hearing what you go through, like you said, we're going to talk about in the next episode. I'll probably get into my career more in the next episode too, but hearing that people were in these positions and were able to pull themselves out of them. Granted, like you have to acknowledge the privilege that you have, whether you agree with the concepts of it or not. Some of us have better opportunities, and that's just a reality.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
That's my situation. Is I will talk about it, but I am blessed with parents who own a business and stuff, and I would be in a worse spot right now if they didn't, and that it's great, and I am grateful for it, but I do also still deal with a lot of things that maybe some better off mentally and financially still dads don't. So
and see, and even my experience and my brother's experience very different. My brother is my little brother. He's the baby. He's I love him to pieces. He doesn't have any kids. He's got a long time serious girlfriend that it seems like they're going all the way, but like he owns a house. I wouldn't have bought his house. It doesn't meet our needs, but for him it's perfect, whatever. My dad helped him out with that. My dad has been a lot less hands-on with helping me, and I think that him helping my brother was kind of like a result of, oh, okay, well, I can do it at least this one time. And I could be wrong about that. I don't want to speak for my dad. My dad, I love him. He's great. And he has always provided what we needed at the very least. I don't expect handouts. I never have. I have fought my way through to get to where I am now. And that's one thing I'll never undersell. Yes, I do acknowledge my privilege, but I also acknowledge the fight that I had to go through to get here. Like I said, when we had our first son, I was working third shift in a warehouse, making barely enough to get by.
Harris Teeter Order Select?
Yes, sir. Might have to bleep the name. I don't know if we can talk about them, but either way, you know what that job is like. It's miserable. Got evicted. Got our car repossessed. Luckily, my dad had like the first car I ever bought, because he had just taken it off my hands when I was like, okay, time to get it.
He was like, dude, it's worth more just sitting here with me than selling it.
Right, and so he gave me that back, and like he has given me multiple vehicles. Like I don't want it to be like, well, my dad bought my brother a house. He didn't buy my brother a house. He just helped my brother line it up and get it. But my dad has always supported us. He's given me cars when we needed it. He helped me pay off the debt so that we didn't have an eviction on our record, just so we could go get another place to stay that wasn't awful.
Yeah.
Um,
He has survival instinct
right,
for his children.
Right.
And it's nothing to be ashamed of.
He has been phenomenal to me. That being said, like, it was hell. And without him, I can't fathom how much worse it would have been. But like, he didn't save me. He just gave me enough to keep my head above the water so I wasn't drowning.
He gave you something and you had to do with the rest.
Right. And
you could have easily squandered it.
I made mistakes
and then
previous.
He wouldn't have anything else to give you, and
right.
he'd be like, well, you squandered it.
Right, yeah. Like I gave you an opportunity and that's what I could provide for you and you pissed it away, so that's on you. But like I didn't. And my wife is I'm surprised that she's still my wife. Because like we went through a lot of stuff and we have had a lot of open context to our relationship. We've always been very like on par with each other on every aspect, and you know, our marriage has been ours, and we have always kept that very separate from relationships with other people. And so the only person that truly knows every detail of the struggle that we went through collectively is her. But she dug in and she rode right along, and
that means a lot.
It does. And to be honest, her father is also a godsend. Like, my father-in-law is awesome. If I would have been her dad, I would have been like, dump this bum.
The bum. I was going to say bum too.
Yeah, like it's like, get rid of him. And he supported.
He saw something in you.
And that to me, I think that to me also was a big motivator in like just getting it together. But also, that's part of life. Like, there are probably going to be younger people that hear this podcast and go, "Oh, I'm struggling," and just understand that I was struggling too, and I think any young parents were. And like, dude, I had to do a full pivot. I was living the rock and roll lifestyle. Like, I was going to shows every weekend, having bands crash at our house. Like, I remember one time it was, shout out Kanashi, because them and
I know them.
Called Second Death. Yeah, Kanashi.
I follow them on Facebook.
I love those guys to death. They're awesome people. And them and a band called Second Death came and crashed out crashed out means
that's a different term.
Crashed at our apartment and
crashed in
our apartment. And we just had like, that was a regular occurrence. I think the reason that one sticks out in my mind is, one, because I love both of those bands. I think Second Death is still together too, so shout out Second Death.
Shout out Second Death. I'll look into you after this.
They're great guys.
If you're around.
But yeah, man, like, it was just so fun to do stuff like that. And we had bands party with us all the time, but like, I just remember that was a full house. And then we had friends over. And it just was what it was, man. And but I had to remove myself from that and put myself into dad mode very quickly. And when we first had the apartment that we got evicted from, when we had our son, it was a 1-bedroom apartment, and we didn't sleep at all because we were new parents. We were told co-sleeping is bad. And I feel like my wife and I both just took turns sitting up, sleeping, holding him.
Yep.
Like, we were just terrified to put him down. We had a bassinet. He would not sleep in it. We found out that he would sleep in our arms. And I would go, third shift, I would work, I would show up in the morning. My wife, for the first few months of his life, didn't have to work, so she was a hero and would let me get a few hours of sleep in the morning. And then I would wake up in the middle of the day, help field it, and then go to work. And the schedule wasn't terrible. It was 4 days on, 3 days off, so it was cool. but at the same time, like, it was just rough. It was brutal, and it was something that I think a lot of parents deal with. Just it's not always sunshine and rainbows. You know what I mean? And like, we will get into that, but like, the fact of the matter is, like, I'm not smarter than anyone. I'm not better than anyone. Like I said, I accept that I have privileges and opportunities that other people don't. But at the same time, if I can do it, you can do it. Like, uh, you know, high school never prepared me for any of this. High school told me I had to go to college right out of high school, get it figured out, and then if I didn't, I would be a failure.
And that's what I did, and then I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, there's not a one-size-fits-all.
There's not a solution that everybody is going to be able to relate to. And that's, again, we loop back to the basis of what this is about. We are not, well, you're actually qualified to provide some degree of help for people on a psychological level, at least.
Legal disclaimer.
Yeah.
I am not a psychologist.
By practice, but you have the piece of paper that says,
I do have a little piece of paper.
But I'm not here to tell people that they're wrong or they're right. I'm here to tell people what we went through, what we did to get things figured out, and hopefully provide a space for people to sit there and go, oh, thank God it's not just me.
Yeah. What works for me doesn't work for you, but at least you can maybe take some pieces of what did work for me and make it work for you.
Exactly. But also, we really want to make you laugh. Like, I think at the end of the day, we've drifted into the heavy a little bit here.
Yeah. Please clap.
Like, please applaud.
Got political.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if we can make you laugh a little bit, if we can make you cry a little bit, if we can invoke emotion of any kind, rage works too.
It does.
Then awesome.
Yeah.
I personally, I feel like I've done my job.
Yeah, and humor is how I've always dealt with everything. And no, it's probably not healthy, but it's worked for me, and it's given me a tool that maybe I can one day use this, gift. I don't want to sound like I'm amazing, but just like the gift of humor to do something for my family that's outside the bounds of working in a backrooms looking office, being miserable, sitting at my desk fidgeting, and turning it into something.
Yeah. And, I mean, again, the ambition here isn't money. If we make money, cool. We might have to tailor our approach at that point.
Yeah, I will say I still need money, so I will not be just willingly giving that up, because we are working for this, and that's okay.
At the same time, I want to get the first few episodes of this laid out with just us, kind of really get our feeling about it, and then maybe have some real dads on here. We can keep going. Like, go all the way to the top. Yeah. Obama's a dad.
We climbed the dad ladder.
Yeah. I don't know that any sitting president would come on any podcast, much less one about being a dad, but the old ones we can go for, right?
The smart ones would, if they want to win.
That's right. Victory. We guarantee it. We don't.
Touch the people. Not like that.
Gross. Not you, but the concept. Anyways, I might clip that part out. But yeah, no, I mean, all jokes aside, I do want to have other dads on here, because we're just two people, right? Our experience does not encompass everyone's. So I want to talk to other real dads. There might be some super just everyday average Joe type dads that come on here, and then there might be some people that we find that are super successful,
and we might get one of those dads that we were talking smack about in the beginning,
right? And he might give us insight.
He might own us on our own podcast,
right? And I can't wait. I hope so. I do. I'm excited to be owned on my own.
I can always use a good humbling.
Right.
Every couple weeks, you got to get humbled because, you know, if you got ADHD, you get a little manic, you start like feeling like, oh, maybe I might be a little bit of God.
Right.
You got to get humbled.
And, you know, I'm accepting of that, but I want to hear other people talk. I don't want to keep my scope narrow. I want to hear and see and experience other people's processes, other people's thoughts. So I think that's what we're going to accomplish here. Again, want to make you guys laugh. We're super ADHD. If you hadn't pieced that together, we're gonna be bouncing all over the place.
We actually are doing a better job than the last.
I think we had to get those like weird jitters out.
Yeah.
And like on top of that, like I was super uncomfortable. I still don't like the way I look on camera. I'm gonna deal with that for the rest of my life, probably.
Yeah, just deal with it.
But at the same time,
we still hate our voices too.
Yeah. I can't listen to myself.
It's called the dad voice, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And by the way,
buckle up, buddy.
What a great way to close out on this, because we're at about an hour here. The dad voice. I've had a lot of people go, "What? Like, why did you name it that?" For anybody who doesn't know what the dad voice is, I've always known it. I've always known what the dad voice is. But the dad voice is when you're not listening to mom and dad just has to raise his voice a little bit.
You gotta drop the bass a little bit.
Yeah. Drop a few octaves and then up the volume and then just say exactly what mom said, but in that voice. And all of a sudden it means more.
And the first couple of times I did that to my daughter, she cried. And I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. But I was like, wait, no, don't go back.
See, my toddler laughs at me when I do it. He is...
Man, mine's starting to mock me, too. She'll be like, no.
Defiant. He is like, I laugh in your face. Your voice means nothing. The cats still listen, though, so that's cool.
You got dominion over something else.
And, again, you know, like... I love my kids. My ambition is not to control or dominate them. However, I'm running out of tools to rope the toddler, and he is just a cowboy. You
gotta get back to the good old like Pavlovian classical conditioning, like you did with the damn dogs. Yeah.
But yeah. So there you go. That's what the dad voice is. That's where the name came from. But also it worked out because we are dads using our voices. This is a podcast.
And no one had the name.
And surprisingly, no one had the name. So yeah, I'm pumped to be here. I'm pumped to be doing this with you. And I think that in all reality, like this is something that we're going to spend a lot of time doing. I think that our focus is going to stay pretty linear on the dad concepts, and even if the subject seems odd,
I was just saying,
bring it in.
We'll do our best, but you know what? Everyone experiences all these different things in life, so it's we'll figure out a way to make some things dad related, and some things we're just genuinely interested in talking about.
And hey, if this one pops off, we might branch off and do a side one about the crazy thoughts.
Yeah.
Because we've already talked about some of those too. But either way, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here with you doing this. I think this is going to be a really great thing. I will try. This is all self-produced, so if you guys don't see tags for our socials at the bottom, sorry. I'm going to try to put that on there, though. And I can even put your socials on there. I should, like I said, I might start my own socials and then try to pin those on there, too. This is self-produced, so I really want everyone to understand the sound quality might not be tip-top. The video quality might be weird. The camera angle might be strange, but
the authenticity is real.
The authenticity is real, and
I think that might be an oxymoron saying that because authenticity does mean real, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Redundant, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, we're just here doing our thing. I'm excited about this. Hopefully, if this thing does progress, if we can squeeze a few dollars out of this, it will obviously rotate back into the podcast.
Yeah.
We will continue to improve our quality. We will make merch if that's what the people that are watching this want. But viewer and listener feedback is important to us.
We'll have the email address too.
We have the email address. One thing that we're going to go through and start adding probably after the first 5 episodes, I'd say, because I think what we're going to do is backlog a few of these episodes for release, which I don't mind telling the audience that. But we will put the email down below. And by the time this one comes out, I think we can go ahead and start accepting some emails. So we'll start doing a segment called Dadvice. And so if you, what is the email, the dadvoicepod@gmail?
I think so.
So I think it's the dadvoicepod@gmail.com. Again, I will try to edit it somewhere into here in this area. And then you just want to put in the subject line Dadvice, and a little brief line that kind of covers what you're going to cover, and then ask your questions, or just tell us something you want to talk about. And we're going to just give our input on it. Our take could be stupid, but it'll make for good comedy if it is.
Yeah.
And so just Dadvice, whatever you want to talk about. You don't have to include your name. If you want to include your name, it always feels a little more personal. It feels preferable. And it allows us to contact you or speak to you more directly on the podcast, but you don't have to put your name. Just Dadvice, what you want to go through, what you want us to talk about, or feedback. You can also send us feedback to that email address about what you think, if you don't want to do it in the comment section of one of our social medias. And just tell us, but also get in the comments, tell us what you want us to talk about. Tell us perspectives that you want to hear, that we might be able to provide, and let us know, because this is mostly fan service. This is going to be tailored to what the people that are listening want to hear.
Almost like a create your own adventure.
Right. Exactly.
When Netflix was trying to do those interactive shows and movies and stuff.
Yeah, and we want to grow, and we want to expand, and we want more and more people to add their input. We want to create a show that more and more people can relate to. So I think that that's definitely something that we're striving for. I'm, like I said, man, I'm just happy to be here. I'm pumped about it. I think we're gonna do some really fun stuff here, and hopefully by the time this comes out, we'll get some emails generated. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day to you. It's obviously not Father's Day the day we're recording, but this will be released on Father's Day, our first episode. So very excited to get this done and to see where it goes. And again, hopefully, I think for the first couple episodes we probably won't have 2 recliners, but I'm hoping soon enough we'll have 2 recliners so we can really get comfortable.
It's one of those things where if you watch each episode, you'll notice something maybe different or improved every time, and
right.
That's kind of neat. That's
and
fun.
That's our goal, is to constantly be making.
You can watch real life progression.
But I think this is a good sign off. I think we'll just we'll be back soon with more content. I think we're going to try for a weekly basis. If that becomes too hard to manage, we might shoot for a bi-weekly. But regardless, I'm pumped about it, man. And so thank you for listening or watching. Again, this is the Dad Voice Podcast. My name is Cole.
My name is Philip.
And
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Keep doing the dad thing. We'll talk to you guys later.